Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Elmhurst City Council for Monday, December 15, 2025, and ask that you all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Tamer, please call the roll.
Verimas? Here. Bellinger?
Here.
Schenko? Here. Hill?
Here.
Graham?
Here.
Jensen?
Here.
Toludo?
Here.
Baker?
Here.
Nudera?
Here.
Virgil?
Here.
Nardini?
Here.
Vestito?
Here.
Irby?
Here.
Brennan?
Here.
14 present, 0 absent.
14 present, 0 absent. We have a quorum. Moving on to item 3 of a public hearing that is scheduled for this evening. The public hearing concerns the 2025 tax levy for Special Service Area number 16. So I will call the public meeting to order. City Clerk, please call the roll on the public meeting.
Verimas? Here. Bellinger?
Here.
Schenko? Here. Hill?
Present.
Graham?
Here.
Jensen?
Here.
Toludo?
Here.
Baker?
Here.
Nudera?
Here.
Virgil?
Here.
Nardini?
Here.
Vestito?
Here.
Irby?
Here.
Brennan?
Here.
14 present, 0 absent.
14 present, 0 absent. We have a quorum. The purpose of the public hearing is to take public comment concerning the 2025 tax levy for Special Service Area number 16. I'd ask the clerk, are there any written comments concerning the 2025 tax levy for this special service area?
There are none, Mayor.
All right. Would any members of the public like to make any comments for the record? And this is on the special meeting for the special service area. Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to close the hearing. Alderman Virgil with a motion, Alderman Nardini with a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. The public hearing is closed. Thank you. We're moving on to item 4, receipt of written communications from the public. Does anyone have a written communication that he or she would like to deliver to the council? If so, please raise your hand. Seeing none. Yeah, and there are a number on board docs. We'll move on to public comment. Clerk Tamer, is anyone signed in to make public comment at public forum this evening?
Yes, Mayor. We have Dan Gibbons.
All right. Before we start, we'll use the back microphone. I would ask that you state your name. Address is optional. It helps us if we want to get in touch with you. Everyone has 3 minutes, and I will let you know shortly before your 3 minutes is up and ask that you wrap it up. We generally do not respond to public comment. We're listening. It's your opportunity to tell us what you would like for us to know, and we'll be attentive to that. Mr. Gibbons, state your name and proceed, please.
Hi, my name is Dan Gibbons. I live at 421 East Church Street in Elmhurst, and I'm representing the Dan Gibbons Turkey Trot Foundation, and I'm speaking on behalf of Republic Services and I know that they're up for renewal, and I hope that the city does renew their contract. For as many years back as I can remember, Republic Services has provided waste receptacles throughout the course, and it's all been in kind, and we haven't had to pay for the services, which we desperately need because we would like to keep our event clean, the city clean, and every step of the way along the route. And there's never been a problem. And I think my contact is Tish Powell, and she's been great. Before that, it was Mary McCarthy until she passed away. And for all these years, it has saved us tens of thousands of dollars. So in consideration, I hope the city stays with Republic Services. Thank you.
Thank you. Clerk Tamer.
Eric Paler.
All right. Good evening, Mayor Levin, City Council, and City staff. My name is Eric Paler. I'm the General Manager for Republic Services. I'd like to address the solid waste collection RFP. First, Republic Services firmly believes that the potential cost savings to the City of Elmhurst and its residents in Republic's proposal is significant. Republic Services is the lowest cost bidder, period. The direct annual savings of over $71,000 a year, combined with our annual pledge of $5,000 to support Elmhurst sustainability initiatives, represents more than $75,000 annually and over $384,000 over the course of the agreement in tangible benefits to the community. Second, I just wanted to touch quickly on a point in the minority report that we feel misinterprets some of the specifications that were laid out in the RFP. The minority report suggests a scenario in which spring cleanup and fall leaf pickup charges are excluded. However, the RFP explicitly includes those in the scope of work. So we feel that claim that if those are excluded, that LRS is the lowest bid is not accurate and misrepresents the full scope of the RFP. Republic Services has chosen to incorporate these events into our overall pricing structure. Therefore, really the only valid price comparison is that overall program cost that's outlined in the city staff's proposal summary cost analysis document, which has been shared on board docs. Finally, just addressing the goals, the sustainability goals that were outlined by the City of Elmhurst and the Public Works Committee in the RFP. The RFP states the city is interested in a pricing model that establishes a greater price differential between the smallest, middle, and largest cart refuse sizes. The intent of this structure is to provide customers with a financial incentive to select smaller carts, thereby encouraging waste reduction and increased recycling participation. Republic Services is the only bidder that heeded this call to action by establishing a $15 cost for a 35-gallon refuse cart and a $12 price differential between the smallest and largest carts. In addition to this nearly 19% reduction in current pricing for the lowest volume 35-gallon cart, the most popular 65-gallon cart will also see an approximately 2% price reduction. Regarding the organic waste carts, the RFP states the city's goal is to encourage residents to reduce landfill disposal through active participation in composting, thereby supporting waste diversion and sustainability objectives. We feel Republic's flat rate of $12 for any size of organics waste cart does just this by encouraging residents to maximize their composting of food scraps and yard waste by offering the lowest cost for the largest capacity in the 95-gallon cart by 50 cents, while also affording residents the opportunity to reduce the quantity of stickers purchased throughout yard waste season if they so choose to select the largest size organics waste cart. So in summary, Republic Services not only provides the lowest cost, but also the proposal that most fully aligns with Elmhurst's sustainability and service goals. We respectfully urge the council to support the recommendation from city staff and the majority report recommendation from the Public Works and Buildings Committee, recognizing the overall value of Republic's proposal and the significant benefit
Sir,
it delivers to the
I'm
city
sorry, I
of
let you run a little bit. All right, thank you.
George Strom.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is George Strom, and I'm the Area Vice President for LRS. I've spent my entire career in this market, previously about 5 years ago. Roy Strom Company, which is my family's business for over 75 years, was acquired by LRS. And I've served in this market, as I mentioned previously, for my entire adult career. The facility that you'd been managed out of would be our Maywood location, which was previously Roy Strom Company. Like I mentioned before, I really do know this area well. I know all the communities in this area, and I understand the expectations of the residents, especially in Elmhurst. I'm also a alumni of Elmhurst, at one time college, now university, so I do know this area very well. When it comes to reliability, consistent service, and a fair price, that is what we're looking for here to deliver for you. Today, LRS proudly services neighboring communities, Berkeley, Villa Park, both of which have been long-standing municipal partners with LRS. Those relationships were built over time through consistent performance, accountability, and trust, and they continue today with LRS because we do what we say we're going to do, which is to deliver those positive things. My role as the area vice president is not to necessarily sell the programs or to discuss the specific line items, but my responsibility is to ensure that when a community partners with LRS, the service is delivered at the highest level and that the commitments that we make during the proposal process are honored throughout the entire lifetime of the contract. If Elmhurst chooses LRS, this agreement would be supported by our local team out of Maywood, our local infrastructure, which we have the most of throughout the Chicago network, including 3 material recovery facilities, multiple construction and demolition recycling facilities, and multiple hauling operations, all located within 10 to 15 minutes of your community. We respect Elmhurst's history with your longstanding partner, but at the same time, we do truly believe that it is time for a change. It is time for a change to switch to a partner that is leading in responsibility when it comes to environmental sustainability. So again, we are excited for the opportunity to bring Elmhurst into the LRS family in order to deliver the best service, the most forward-thinking sustainability, and partnership standards that have been defined in your RFP. So with that, I thank you for the time, and I look forward to more conversation.
Thank you.
Tish Powell?
Good evening. My name is Tish Powell. I'm the Manager of Municipal Sales with Republic Services. And I won't repeat what our General Manager, Eric Pear, mentioned earlier, but what I will say is that we have been a proud partner with the City of Elmhurst for over 17 years. And Elmhurst is not the only DuPage County community that trusts us with their service. We service the Village of Addison, Hinsdale, Itasca, Bensonville, Glendale Heights, and most recently were awarded a 6-year contract extension with the Village of Downers Grove. Our 200 employees out of our Melrose Park-based facility take great pride in the work that we do here in Elmhurst. We hear constantly from your residents how their drivers do a great job, our drivers do a great job, and how much they appreciate our service. I would also like to point out that Republic Services' proposal saves the city approximately $180,000 annually in direct general fund expenditures for your fall leaf collection, where you offer your 2 weeks for free that the city pays for, and your spring cleanup services that your residents here dearly love. During a time when municipalities are incurring steadily rising costs and are forced to make difficult decisions to increase property taxes, these cost savings are not inconsequential. Our sustainability report, which is available online, and I believe some of you have in your email boxes, really outlines all the things that Republic Services does in terms of sustainability. We are leading the nation in fleet electrification. We launched this nation's first fully electric fleet in Louisville, Colorado in 2024, and launched several electric vehicles in Chicago earlier this year. We've invested millions of dollars in advancing plastic circularity, opening our first polymer center in Las Vegas in 2024 and our second in Indianapolis. And why that's relevant is that it is likely that during the course of this contract, that materials collected here, at least the plastics, could be processed out of that facility. Locally, we are a proud sponsor and a partner. We are a sponsor of the Elmhurst Craft Beer Fest, and we have partnered with event organizers, including the Elmhurst Public Museum and the Cool Cities Coalition, to significantly reduce waste and divert recyclable materials from landfills by over 3,000 pounds over the course of the past few years. And as you've heard earlier from Mr. Dan Gibbons, we have been a proud sponsor of the Dan Gibbons Turkey Trot for a
Ms.
number of
Powell,
years.
You're at 3 minutes, so please wrap up your remarks. Thank you.
I will wrap up. Bottom line, Republic Services believes our proposal not only meets but exceeds the city's expectations for service quality, environmental sustainability, and economic value. Thank you, and we appreciate your time.
Bill Kenny.
Turn that horn off for me.
Good evening, Mayor Levin, City Manager Grabowski, and alderpersons. My name is Bill Kenny. I serve as the Municipal Manager for Lakeshore Recycling Systems, which is a role I've been in since 2010. It's an honor to be here before you this evening, and I appreciate this opportunity to address you all. I'm here tonight in hopes that I can convince the city that moving forward with LRS is the best and most effective way to achieve the goals that it has laid out in its RFP for its residents in this great town. Number one, as noted in recent public remarks and written communication to the city this past week, LRS is the only one of the two haulers being discussed tonight that has local, and I stress local, sustainability bona fides to help Elmhurst accomplish its mission to be a greener community. Frankly, but respectfully, it's not even a close race in this regard. Where LRS has spent tens of millions of dollars of building new, again, local infrastructure, our respected competitors at Republic have not built one. They built some in Las Vegas and other areas. I'm not sure how that correlates to Chicagoland. This alone allows for LRS to accept material that Republic cannot. LRS and other LRS excels in other peripheral ways as well. For example, LRS is the lone hauler working with Hefty Company in partnership with Lake County communities that allows residents to put out soft and hard to recycle recyclables like styrofoam, wrappers, plastic bags, bubble wrap, foam peanuts, plastic cups and plates, to name a few. Again, this capability is unique to LRS, and we anticipate that this program will scale to DuPage County as early as 2026. LRS is the only hauler with a year-round organics collection program with 12 participating communities. We understand how to not only serve the residential organics program, but almost equally as important, how to market and promote it effectively as well. Number three, LRS would provide all Elmhurst residents with brand new waste and recycling carts as part of its implementation. Our recycling carts will have in-mold information and graphics on all lids that show the most up-to-date recycling information. Republic will be relying, I assume, presumably, on retrofitting already old and weathered carts with stickers that may easily tear or bubble. It should also be noted that our implementation in general is often cited by our valued contracted towns as relatively seamless. Number four, it is very likely that although well-intentioned, the city's mission to direct residents to switch to a 35-gallon waste cart by way of a less expensive rate, very few residents will choose this option. Respectfully, the 35-gallon waste carts are almost exclusively used by homes with two residents or fewer. A normal family of three or more will likely fill up a 35-gallon waste cart within a few days, if that. Any cost savings would likely be offset by the need to purchase waste stickers. Currently, nearly 100% of Elmhurst homes use either a 65 or 95-gallon waste cart. Should the city choose LRS, we feel the greater savings would be reflected in our pricing, since a great deal of residents would opt for the 95-gallon waste cart, since there is considerable savings. In both cases, along with considerable...
You're at 3 minutes, so please
Okay.
wrap up your remarks. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. In summary, LRS has provided the best rates on the two most popular cart sizes for Elmhurst residents, along with the most competitive year-round organics rate. From a qualitative side, the difference between companies regarding sustainability initiatives and infrastructure separates the two companies even more. On a local level, we are demonstrably better in this regard. We respect Republic, but locally their reach exceeds their grasp when it comes to being a green company. We hope that you will ask both companies to elaborate on this issue. And again, thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
That's it, Mayor.
All right, that's the end of the list of those who signed in to make public comment. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to make public comment but didn't have the opportunity to sign in? If so, please raise your hand. Seeing none, we'll close public forum at this time. Thank you all. Item 6, announcements. Are there any announcements this evening? Alderman Brennan.
Thank you, Mayor. There will be no Public Affairs and Safety Committee on December 22nd.
Alderman Mestido.
1 week from today, the Public Works Committee will also not be having their meeting, December 22nd.
Let's see, Alderman Toledo.
The same for the Finance Committee.
Alderman Jensen?
Pressure, peer pressure.
Fine. We will not be meeting on the 22nd as well.
That was painful, I understand. All right. Any other announcements from the dais this evening? Alderman Hill.
Thank you, Mayor. As was brought to my attention by some residents and conversation with staff, there's been some delays in concrete resurfacing after water main work across the city and specifically in our ward as well. The city and the contractor that did that work will be working on that issue, and if you'd like to be updated on the progress, if you're affected, you can check for notifications by signing up for Elmhurst alerts, or feel free to contact your alderman or the city for more updates on that progress. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other announcements? All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Clerk Tamer, take a breath and read the consent agenda.
Okay, 7.1, executive session minutes of the regular meeting of the Elmhurst City Council on December 1st, 2025. 7.2, minutes of the regular meeting of the Elmhurst City Council on December 1st, 2025. 7.3, accounts payable December 15th, 2025. I'm going to need this, actually. Can I use this one? Okay. $3,676,439.47. 7.4, appointment to the Senior Citizens Commission, Pentozzi. 7.5, report, referral, improvement and renovation business grant program review team constituency. 7.6, report, audit services for the fiscal year 2025 through 2029. 7.7, report, increase of 1% to the hotel motel tax rate to the police station project, for the police station project. 7.8, report, Public Arts Commission request, Bernard Williams Sculpture. 7.9, report, rideshare access program, reimbursement agreement with PACE 2026 year. 7.10, report, Northwest Elmhurst roadway reconstruction, motor fuel tax resolution for improvements. 7.11, report 2026 water main lining improvement construction bid. 7.12, an ordinance amending ordinance number 004/2024 to authorize the extension of time for the variations granted to the property commonly known as 524 and 526 Northwest Avenue, Elmhurst, Illinois. 7.13, an ordinance approving a final plan unit development and a final plat of subdivision for the reconstruction of the Joanne B. Wagner Center on the property commonly known as 615 Northwest Avenue, 447 West Armitage Avenue, 397 West Armitage Avenue, and 493 North Oak Lawn Avenue, Elmhurst, Illinois. 7.14, an ordinance for the levy and assessment of taxes for the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2025, and ending December 31st, 2025, in and for special services area number 6 of the city of Elmhurst. 7.15, an ordinance for the levy and assessment of taxes for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2025, and ending December 31st, 2025, in and for special service area number 13 of the city of Elmhurst. 7.16, an ordinance for the levy and assessment of taxes for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2025, and ending December 31st, 2025, in and for special service area number 16 of the city of Elmhurst. 7.17, an ordinance for the levy and assessment of taxes for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2025, and ending December 31st, 2025, of the city of Elmhurst, DuPage, and Cook Counties, Illinois. 7.18, an ordinance abating the tax levy for the year 2025 for the payment in principal and interest accruing upon an issue of $9,925,000 general obligation bonds, Series 2019, of the city of Elmhurst, dated December 30th, 2019. 7.19, an ordinance abating the tax levy for the year 2025 for the payment of principal and interest accruing upon an issue of $9,570,000 general obligation bonds, Series 2021, of the city of Elmhurst, dated April 29th, 2021. 7.20, an ordinance abating the tax levy for the year 2025 for the payment of principal and interest accruing upon an issue of $9,375,000 general obligation bonds, Series 2014B of the city of Elmhurst, dated November 4th, 2014. 7.21, an ordinance abating the tax levy for the year 2025 for the payment of principal and interest accruing upon an issue of $16 million general obligation corporate purpose bonds, Series 2015 of the city of Elmhurst, dated July 1st, 2015. 7.22, an ordinance abating the tax levy for the year 2025 for the payment of principal and interest accruing upon an issue of $25 million general obligation corporate purpose bonds, Series 2016 of the city of Elmhurst, dated June 22nd, 2016. 7.23, an ordinance abating the tax levy for the year 2025 for the payment of principal and interest accruing upon an issue of $6,770,000 general obligation refunding bond series 2017A of the City of Elmhurst dated June 20th, 2017. 7.24, an ordinance abating the tax levy for the year 2025 for the payment of principal and interest accruing upon an issue of $9,615,000 general obligation bonds, Series 2017B of the City of Elmhurst dated August 1st, 2017. 7.25, an ordinance abating the tax levy for the year 2025 for the payment of principal and interest accruing upon an issue of $9,715,000 general obligation bonds, Series 2018 of the City of Elmhurst dated December 5th, 2018. 7.26, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement relating to the O'Hare Noise Compatibility Commission. 7.27, a resolution to approve and authorize the City of Elmhurst support of the DuPage Citizens Council. 7.28, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of a geographic information consortium service provider contract between Municipal GIS Partners Incorporated and the City of Elmhurst, Illinois. 7.29, a resolution to authorize supplemental funding for the City of Elmhurst portion of the engineering and construction costs for Phase 2, for the Phase 2 traffic signal modernization improvements along the Illinois 64 corridor. 7.30, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of the First Amendment to the Engineering Services Agreement by and between Clark Dietz, Inc. and the City of Elmhurst for the 2025 Water Main Improvements Project 25-01 Construction Phase Services Project. And 7.31, a resolution authorizing the execution of change order number 2 for the Water Reclamation Facility Bundle number 5 Improvements Project.
That's all?
That's it.
All right. I may have is there any item on the consent agenda that any alderman would like to remove either for further discussion or to vote against? Alderman Varamis?
7.3, please.
7.3,
7.3, please.
all right. All right. Anything else? Alderman Hill?
Thank you. 7.5, please.
7.5. All right. Anyone else? I may have a motion to approve the consent agenda minus items 7.3 and 7.5. Alderman Bastido with the motion, Alderman Brand with a second. Clerk Tamer, please call the roll.
Varamis?
Aye.
Bellinger?
Aye.
Shanko?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Graham?
Aye.
Jensen?
Aye.
Toledo?
Aye.
Baker?
Aye.
Nudera?
Aye.
Virgil?
Aye.
Nardini?
Aye.
Bastido?
Aye.
Kirby?
Aye.
Brennan?
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 nays.
14 ayes, 0 nays. The consent agenda minus 7.3 and 7.5 is adopted. Going to item 7.3, Clerk Tamer, please read the...
Accounts payable, December 15th, 2025, $3,676,439.47.
May I have a motion to approve the accounts payable in that amount? Alderman Toledo with the motion. Alderman Hill with a second. I think we'll go directly to Alderman Varamis.
Thank you, Mayor. I've asked to have this item pulled from the consent agenda because it involves an accounts payable item related to a payment for advertisement in the annual Elmhurst Chamber of Commerce directory, and therefore I would like to vote present.
All right. Clerk Tamer, is any other discussion? All right, Clerk Tamer, call the roll on 7.3.
Varamis?
Present.
Bellinger?
Aye.
Shanko?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Graham?
Aye.
Jensen?
Aye.
Toledo?
Aye.
Baker?
Aye.
Nudera?
Aye.
Virgil?
Aye.
Nardini?
Aye.
Bastido?
Aye.
Irby?
Aye.
Brennan?
Aye.
13 ayes, 0 nays, 1 present.
13 ayes, 0 nays, 1 present, 7.3 passes. Please read the report, Clerk Tamer, on 7.5.
Therefore, the Development Planning and Zoning Committee recommends that the council agree with the above recommendations to not alter the current team constituency of the Business Grant Marketing Review Team. Signed, Alderman Chris Jensen, Chair, Alderman Jennifer Varamis, Vice Chair, and Alderman Guido Nardini.
All right, we have a motion to put 7.5 before the pass. Alderman Jensen with a motion to approve, Alderman Varamis with a second, Alderman Jensen.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a report about possibly changing the composition of the the grant committee. This was a referral that both I and Alderman Hill were on. I would like to apologize for Alderman Hill for not having a discussion with him last week about us passing a report. That was a failure on my part. That said, the report's pretty short, and there's a couple bullet points in here as to why we decided not to make a change to the committee at this time. I think the most compelling one there's a couple. One is the Lake York Business Association is relatively new. They don't have a professional staff like the Chamber and the City Center do. And because of how the process works, there's a strong possibility of a conflict of interest for a member of the Lake York Business Association to be possibly reviewing a competitor's business documents and marketing materials and other non-public information that happens as part of the process for approving grants. So for those reasons, we thought that at this time it doesn't make sense to change the composition.
Thank you. Alderman Hill?
Thank you. I wasn't sure what this came up as, like a procedural question or, well, that's how I'm going to phrase it, but we had a report on this item on October 20th. It had the same title. It was item 5.9 on October 20th. So how does that work? Can we have two reports with the same title within a recent amount of time? Is that somehow voting on the same item twice, at least from appearance's sake, or is that important that the titles are the same?
Well, I wasn't alerted to this ahead of time, so I don't know what is the substance of the title may be the same, but is the substance of the report from October and this one the same?
Yes and no. They both concern the grant. They both concern the grant review committee, but they're different topics within it. So I just wasn't sure if that was going to be an issue or not, and I hadn't had a chance to address that beforehand. So
I don't believe it's a problem because as long as it's a different subject matter, it'll be clear what we're voting on.
Sure. Thanks. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So that aside, I pulled this item to be no. To vote no, to be consistent with the aims of my initial referral with Alderman Jensen, and I'm not necessarily making a call for support, but I just want to make a couple comments. LIBA being a Lake York Business Association that's concerned with the activities of businesses on the north side of Elmhurst. I think when I looked at the grant review team, I thought that based on the team's constituency, there's a value in geographic representation, right? There's a value in having somebody from the area that's affected. In the case of downtown and city center, TIF 6, there's a value in having somebody from that area, in this case, a representative of city center, giving input on grants that are concerning that area, right? So we ascribe a value to that. That's something that's in the current grant review team. And so when Alderman Jensen put in the referral, it was my intention at least that there would be a value in having the north side and the TIF that's concerned with that area also have the value of a geographic representation. And because Lake York Business Association is a new group within that area, it's noted in the report that it's less than a year old. I thought that would be a likely body to give some sort of geographical representation to grants that may concern that area. And I understand the points that are put here. I guess what's missing here, and a question I have, is like how long does a business organization have to be in existence to be considered valid? And what sort of staffing must it have? Should it be a mirror of city center, and should it have a similar structure in order to qualify to be a part of this grant review process? Because again, we give it a value. There's a value to have some sort of representation from the area, or else we wouldn't see any value in having city center on this grant review team. So for those reasons and others, which maybe will be addressed going forward through other means, I don't think I can support this report, and I don't agree with it, and so I'll be voting no on it.
Thank you. Additional discussion. Alderman Varamus.
Thank you. I just want to make a quick comment about, what's the appropriate length of time that a business organization should be established in order to be on a review committee. I think one of the biggest pieces here is when you have professional staff, albeit from city center, whatever, the chamber, that is part of their position. When you're getting a volunteer, that is what that LIBA organization is made up. We are, and I've sat on retail grant when I was on the finance committee as well, we are meeting with the applicant. We are looking at their projections of their business plan. The components of a business plan, which I'm sure many of you know, but one of them is a competitive analysis. So potentially, as a volunteer that would be sitting on this review committee, if you owned a pizza place and another pizza place was opening up down the street from you, you would be seeing their whole business plan. You would be seeing their competitive analysis, you would be seeing their marketing plan, you would be seeing their projections. One of the things that we always talk about on that, and Alderman Nudera sits on retail grant now, so he can probably speak to this as well, is how are you going to deal with your competitors? What is going to set you apart? So I think that is a very significant reason why the committee came up with the decision that they did. So I just want to make sure everybody is aware of that. Thank you.
All right, any other discussion? Clerk, Alderman Irby.
Thank you, Mayor. Sorry about that. Great discussion from Alderman Vremus and Alderman Hill. Did the LBYA, if I'm pronouncing that right, did they get any input during this process where you guys were deliberating? Did you guys get a feel for anything they had to say during this, or were they silent, or can you address that?
I think we talked about for 3 or 4 meetings. Were they at the first one?
They did not have any representation at the 3 of our 3 meetings that we held.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to inquire, make sure I knew if they did represent themselves, and it sounds like they had plenty of opportunity. I'm hearing from the chair. So I think that answers my question. Thank you.
Additional discussion? Alderman Bram.
I'm going to support this report, but I do have, I guess, some level of concern in regards to are the appropriate roles making the decision when it comes to the grants. So I don't know if the Lake York Business Association should or shouldn't be on there, so I'm fine with the committee, what the committee has arrived to at this point in time. But I think that it does deserve, hopefully within the near future or near term, a further look to see if the grant committee is the appropriate individuals.
All right, any other discussion? Alderman Hill?
Mayor, just one final comment. I'd like to think that in some time in the near future, I think we want to encourage our business associations to be as much of a part of any process like this as they're allowed to be, right? Whether it's grant review or other ways in which the city can partner with these associations. So I hope if we understand there's some hurdles for them to be a part of this, to play as much of a part as they want to play, or are willing to play or able to play, like we can give them some sort of structure, because I think it would be in our best interests to be inclusive with things such as grants and having that input from our business organizations. However that is going forward, I hope we come up with some sort of way in which that can be realized, if not at this time, because I think we have a very specific grant review team, and I hope it can be more dynamic as supporting bodies and ad hoc structures in the city evolve. Maybe we can find a way to make them a part of this. Thanks.
Alderman Jensen.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to that point, this committee makes a recommendation to Development Planning and Zoning, and then we have final say on it. So there's plenty of opportunity for any business association to come in front of our committee when we're deliberating and give their side and support to the businesses, which I believe has happened in the past, actually. So Just want to throw that out there. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Clerk Tamer, call the roll on 7.5.
Arimas?
Aye.
Bellinger?
Aye.
Shanko?
Aye.
Hill?
No.
Graham?
Aye.
Jensen?
Aye.
Toludo?
Aye.
Baker?
Aye.
Nudera?
Aye.
Virgil?
Aye.
Nardini?
Aye.
Bastido?
Aye.
Irby?
Aye.
Brennan?
Aye.
13 ayes, 1 nay, 0 absent.
All right, 13 ayes, 1 nay, 7.6 passes. We're going to move on to reports and recommendations of elected officials. Mayor Levin, first I'd like to note the passing of the Honorable William Bauer, who was 99 years of age, a long Elmhurst resident. He DuPage County State's Attorney, not Assistant, the State's Attorney, DuPage County Judge, U.S. Attorney, and United States District Court, one of the champions of the legal profession, passed away last week, so our condolences to his family. Also, because it's our last meeting of the year, I want to thank each of you for your very active participation on the council and to all of the staff for the work they've done to keep this city as great as it is. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. We appreciate that. City Hall will be closed December 24th and 25th for the holidays, so I want to wish everybody Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And then our community grant application process is now open, and that is through February 6th. Details on the city website.
Thank you, City Manager. Any other reports and recommendations? Councilman Bram?
Yeah, I was hoping to, excuse me, to get a report or a status. I heard, and I don't know if it's hearsay or if it's reality, I heard it was on WGN News today, but I did not see it myself, in regards to the 294 off-ramp to County Line Road, either that it opened today or a ribbon cutting today, or it's opening Saturday. Could we get some type of update on that, please?
City Manager.
Thank you. We have been working with the tollway. Initially, it was going to be open today, but they pushed that back. I believe they're still working on the ramp over North Avenue for eastbound Route 64. It will be opening shortly. We have been working very, very closely with tollway staff, our police department, fire department, community development. Everybody has been working with the tollway and IDOT to get appropriate signage, and then multiply that by 3. Is kind of our opinion, and we will be I know that Chief McLean's already working on a traffic patrol for that area to make sure that people are obeying the signs that are put up.
Thank you. So, I mean, my understanding was it wasn't going to open until that flyover underpass was open, so it sounds like that has changed and it's going to open prior to?
I don't believe so. I believe they're in the final touches of the ramp that goes to eastbound 64. That commitment still holds that they are not going to open the off-ramp from 294 until that's done.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, we'll move on to committee reports. Item 9.1, Clerk Tamer, please read the, is this a resolution? Yes, read the resolution.
It is therefore the recommendation of the Finance, Council Affairs, and Administrative Services Committee that the City Council direct the City Attorney to prepare the appropriate resolution. Signed, Alderman Noel P. Toludo, Chair, Alderman James Nudera, Vice Chair, and Alderman Jacob Hill, and Alderman Dan Virgil.
All right, may I have a motion to approve 9.1, Alderman Toludo with a motion, Alderman Nudera with a second, Alderman Toludo.
Thank you. This is really just an opportunity to share with the council and members of the public some information about some committee work that we did in our last committee meeting related to some bonds. This specific report just allows us, when we issue the bonds in 2026, this is a legal approval to allow us, if we spend money as a city on the project that the bonds are for, we can reimburse the city for those expenses that were incurred before the bond was issued for that project. So that's what the specific report is about, and that's what we're asking for your approval tonight. But I wanted to give a little bit more context. In our committee meeting, we did have our bond representative from Spear Financial with us, and he brought two pieces of information to the committee, of which the committee I guess, gave authority, if you will. It's really not just said that you know, continue to do what you're doing and bring us back some more information and bring back to the council. But those two pieces of information is, first off, continuing to move forward with looking into a $3.5 million bond issue as planned in our budget to support the design and engineering of the police station. And secondly, in concert with that, we do have an opportunity, which is great news, to refinance the 2015 bond issue. Looks like we don't know final bond rates, obviously, until we do issue the bonds, which will be sometime around March of 2026. But looks like we have the opportunity to save around $300,000 by refinancing the 2015 bond issue. So just wanted to use this report as an opportunity to share that information with the council. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Toledo, additional discussion. Very good. Clerk Tamer, call the roll.
Remus.
Aye.
Bellinger.
Aye.
Schenko.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Toledo.
Aye.
Baker.
Aye.
Udera.
Aye.
Virgil.
Aye.
Nardini.
Aye.
Bastido.
Aye.
Irby.
Aye.
Brennan.
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 nays.
14 ayes, 0 nays, 9.1 passes. Move on to 9.2. Would you read the report, please, Clerk Tamer?
It is therefore the recommendation of the Public Works and Buildings Committee to approve the proposal supplied by Republic Services for the 2026 through 2031 residential solid waste collection services contract, and the city attorney prepare the appropriate documents, and that the appropriate city officials be authorized to sign the documents. Signed, Alderman Emily Bastido and Alderman Mike Baker. Unsigned, Alderman Michael J. Braham, Vice Chair, and Alderman Rex Irby. Signed, Alderman Emily Bastido, Chair.
All right. May I have a motion to approve 9.1? Alderman Bastido with the motion, Alderman Baker with the second. Alderman Bastido.
Thank you, Mayor. Hopefully, everyone's aware that the City of Elmhurst recently put out to bid our residential solid waste collection services. So Republic has been serving the City of Elmhurst for 17 years in this capacity. Most recently, 8 years ago, we signed a contract, a 5-year contract with a 3-year extension. So thanks to Alderman Braham, Alderman Hill, and Alderman Udera, there was a referral to put this contract out to bid again. We use the same two-step process that we've used in the past, where we first evaluate the qualifications of respondents and then open the bids of the companies that are deemed to be most qualified. So over several meetings, the Public Works Committee updated the RFP based on specific priorities and changes that we wanted to see with Elmhurst waste collection. So a few things that we either added or changed as we added the city's waste reduction and recycling goals from our 2018 sustainability plan. We requested a greater difference between the different size toters to encourage waste reduction. And there was a statement regarding the use of stickers placed under recycling bin lids with visuals indicating acceptable recycling items as a form of education for our residents. So 5 vendors submitted statements of qualifications. City staff evaluated the qualifications, discussed them with the committee, and on Monday, December 1st, 3 proposals were opened. So the vendors selected to have their proposals opened were Republic Services, Lakeshore Recycling Services, and Waste Management. While all the contractors who supplied statements of qualifications and instilled proposals are quality firms, Republic Services was the recommendation of city staff and 2 of the 4 members of the Public Works Committee for several reasons. So most importantly, it is the lowest overall cost to the community over the next 5 years by around $385,000. So the report in front of you says that the two lowest bidders were within 1% of each other, but actually after a mistake in calculations was discovered, they're actually within 2% of each other. Also, staying with Republic offers seamless and uninterrupted continuation of services to the residents, and we felt that Republic did the best job of responding to the committee's request to see a greater difference in the cost of the three toters. There's also, I won't go through all of them, but Republic, in their response, listed a great effort of educating residents, which the committee felt was important. So there will be new program guides mailed to each resident and can be put in the city's newsletter. They have a customized website. They have offered to do customized stickers for every recycling cart. New carts would have it imprinted, and existing carts would have a sticker placed on it by Republic. There's an app with instant access to information to report a missed pickup or scheduled pickup, and they also have what they call oops tags if an item isn't picked up because it isn't complying with what they accept and what they don't. You've also heard a lot tonight about the sustainability efforts, including a donation towards the implementation of our sustainability plan, annual waste assessment used to generate reports showing waste recycling composition. They've added a year-round organics collection. So for all of these reasons, I ask the council to vote yes to the report, and I'm happy to take questions or have more discussion.
Thank you. Discussion? Alderman Brennan.
Thank you, Mayor. So now was the time to go out for RFP. It's been a long relationship with Republic, so I thank the committee for all the work and staff for pulling this together. So as long as I've been on council, the 35, 65, 95 gallon toter price differential was a topic of discussion, and the majority report tonight shows a delineation between those toters. As stated, to promote waste reduction, it's senior friendly, so the seniors are most likely opting into those 35 gallon toters, and simply enough, the RFP asked for this price differential. And so I was pleased when I saw that. So Republic, 17-year history, good service over my time as a resident. I've seen some really bad weather and see those guys battling through it, and been very dependable for me personally. I reached out to staff because I was just wondering if, I'm sort of an odd data point there. And, staff said things do happen. Any service that's delivered to a community of our size, things are going to happen. And in any business, what's most important is how does your partner respond to that? And staff across the board said that Republic, consistently brings all the attention to a situation when it does happen. And nobody's going to get it right the first time. And so I'm very, very comfortable in the majority report. I'm particularly comfortable with the most cost-effective, proposal being one of the main drivers. And then lastly, to staff, I trust, their skills in administering this process. And I have a lot of respect for that recommendation. For those reasons, I'll be supporting the majority report. Thank you.
That's it? Whoop. Alderman Bram.
Come on now. So first off, I want to start out by saying that all the vendors that applied for the RFQ portion, I thought were very worthy. So no matter what the end result of this vote is tonight, I think we're getting a better deal and better service at the end of the day. And I think both the majority and minority report either says that directly or says something to those words. My statements tonight are not about, I want to start off with this, and I was trying to avoid this coming into tonight's discussion, but as of Monday issuing the majority and minority report, there was data points of the difference between the two proposals, one from Republic, one from LRS, was approximately $54,000 over 5 years. As of Friday/Saturday, it was noted by staff, which I would like to get into further details on this, that the difference was not $54,000 as myself and Alderman Irby put in the minority report, but there was a calculation or some type of mistake made, whereas it's been stated, I think by individuals from Republic, that the difference over the 5-year contract is closer to $400,000, $380-something odd thousand over the 5-year contract. My request was not to discuss this at the dais. My request was to discuss this and bring it back to committee. And I guess I do have possible motions that I can or someone can make to see if that would happen. Coming into tonight, I wasn't sure if I was going to take that route or not. And at this moment, I'm deciding not to take that route, depending on this conversation and where it goes and what answers are received. So with that said, I'd like to have a better understanding, and I don't know, Mr. Mayor, if the questions are directed, obviously they're directed to you, but I'm not 100% sure on who can answer this. As of Monday night's report, we had X data in regards to the fall pickup and the leaf pickups. And then as of Friday, when I was been contacted by staff at about 5:30 in the evening, those numbers seem to have changed. The first set of questions is what initiated that, since we did touch on that topic during Monday's discussion. Alderman Irby actually asked about the unit of measure of both of those, was concerned in regards to were we utilizing the units of measure, tonnage, or was it volumetric in regards to cubic feet or cubic yards, I don't recall which. So I'm curious on why did it change, who initiated it, and are these the right numbers? If leaving the committee meeting on Monday, I thought the numbers were correct and was basing my Alderman Irby, our minority report on those numbers, and essentially my stance on who the vendor should and shouldn't be, that played a part of it as well. Why was this initiated? Who initiated it? Where are we getting the data from, et cetera? Some of the initial questions.
All right, Alderman Cressida, do you feel like you would like to respond to that, and then we'll have it supplemented to the extent that it needs?
Yes, absolutely. So just to be clear, so as of Monday night, the lowest cost overall to the community was Republic, and that is still the case. It was discovered in the meantime, and probably because the committee ended where they did, and it was a split vote, and there was a lot of scrutiny on the costs and numbers. I think staff and Republic and all of us did a deep dive. I know I submitted more questions to staff. They were looking at the numbers, and as they were doing that in the days following the committee, it was discovered that there was just a human error made. It was a mistake. There's a lot of information that had to be collected from past invoices to supply the information that all of you have, which is a very complicated chart. And it was a human error. And as soon as it was discovered, all the aldermen were called on the committee. There was an apology given. I do believe staff feels terribly about this, but they are also human. And because it didn't change, who the lowest cost respondent was, it just changed by how much they were the lowest cost, and it was actually in their favor. It wasn't brought back to committee. I know that staff made themselves available over the weekend to all the aldermen on the committee, and I know they spent many hours over the weekend talking to aldermen to try to answer questions. We had 3 days with the new information. And again, if it had been something else that was discovered and it was in favor of a different respondent or had made the case for Republic weaker, I think then I would have contemplated having this discussion at committee, but we have a public meeting here tonight where this was on the agenda and it could be discussed, and I just didn't see any reason that it should be in committee. So hopefully, you felt like or all the aldermen felt that staff was accessible to them over the weekend, because I know I spent time talking to staff, and hopefully, you know, we can answer any questions tonight. So if I left anything off, City Manager, please feel free to.
City Manager, would you like to supplement?
I would. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Chair. Yes, you're correct that staff certainly regrets the error that was made on the proposal summary cost analysis. So that's the spreadsheet that's in front of you and also on board docs. At the bottom quarter of the page, there's some area that is shaded in a tan color, and that's where the numbers changed for the spreadsheet. Specifically, it was on the leaf cost per truck hour. That went from 384 down to 329. You can see that's the third one down. The next one, the leaf pickup per ton, went from 700 to 437. And then finally, the spring cleanup fee per truck hour went from 120 to 685. So those were the changes that were made to the sheet. As the chair pointed out, that made created a cost difference between the two vendors. As soon as we found out about that, we got the word out to everyone. The reason that it happened is that as multiple staff were working back and forth on different spreadsheets, it got transposed. We were trying to use averages from billing that we had, and we missed it on that. So it was no error in the toter cost, any of the expenses that were bid by either one of the companies. We triple, quadruple, checked all of those to make sure those were correct, but it was in that volume number on the bottom where the mistake was made.
Alderman Braham?
Thank you. So my understanding is that this information was received from one of the bidders, which is Republic, and not our own City of Staff's information, which quite frankly is a large concern for me, that we're receiving information to put a spreadsheet together that we're not even generating the data. We're going to one of the competitive bidders. And I'm not making any accusations here, so please don't take it that way. But I think that we should be providing the information that is part of this spreadsheet, and I would assume that we would have that data and that we should have utilized our own data to go there or to get to the conclusion. Yes, I agree mistakes happen, and it happened this time. But I will say in my 22 years of sitting up here, I have never seen a material mistake happen like this and continue on with the discussion on the dais. This is a separator and could sway some of my counterpart aldermen on their decision tonight on what vendor is the right vendor to go with between $54,000 and $384,000 over a 5-year contract. So to me, that's significant. It's a significant mistake, and we should not, in all due respect to my chairperson, we should not be discussing it here today. And the reasons behind that is because I don't have the opportunity to ask questions of the vendor here tonight. I don't have really the opportunity to ask more detailed questions of city staff. Yes, I can get some answers, and I guess I'm going to have to be satisfied with that. But I feel like that because this was done so late in the game, that this plays a major, major role in regards to both the majority and minority report. And no, it doesn't determine who was cheaper in the long run. Chair Bastido is correct. Republic was cheaper for the 5-year total term in both cases, prior to the correction as well as afterwards. But with that said, next question is, how do we get to 685 from 120? And what I mean by that, according to my understanding of this line item, is spring cleanup fee per truck per hour. And I believe spring cleanup happens 3 days, right?
Correct.
So if you do the math on that, 685 divided by 3, you're talking 228 per day, right, hours. So how many trucks are on the road for spring cleanup? my point where I'm trying to go here is just the math doesn't seem to equate what is needed, and now I'm even more suspect on the data that's being provided. 120 hours seems to make sense to me, so I was very surprised and alerted to hear it went from 120 to 685. So could someone just explain to me the calculation? Maybe I am calculating it incorrectly, where 685 is a realistic amount?
Before we go to the calculation, I just want to ask a sub-question. So the numbers that are on here, these were pulled off of each of the vendors' charts, vendor submissions, and we plugged them in, so was our error in determining these numbers?
This was based on actual numbers from our history with Republic. We put those in, we transposed incorrect numbers. As I mentioned, all three vendors whose prices were open, they looked at the spreadsheet. There was significant discussion about this at the committee level, and that's when Republic alerted us that the numbers we had were not correct. They were not accurate to what that is. And so, Mayor, if it's okay, I'm going to ask if you'll allow the Public Works Director, Balicki, to take a microphone up here and explain exactly how that's done. Here, there.
You have
Grab
choice.
the wireless. Director Balicki was the primary staff member working on this, and he was the one who had the contact, so if you will.
Director?
So I guess before I start, I want to make sure I understand the question that's being asked regarding that item.
Well, we're going directly to the 685 per hour, is that?
Yeah, I think that was Alderman Bram's question.
We're going to Alderman Bram's question about the spring cleanup fee per hour and how it was calculated. He divided it by 3. It comes out to a little different number.
So I think, if I understand that correctly, the 685, if you go over, basically it's I think everybody understands it's a 3 Saturday process every spring that happens in the city. And so just for purposes of kind of describing what's going on there, if we assume an 8-hour workday for that's approximately 19 staff that would be coming in on that given day. And from what I know in the years that this has been going on, that event is obviously, it's a kind of an all-hands-on-deck type activity for the contractor, and they do generally respond with a substantial number of trucks and staff to make it through each section of the city the days that they're scheduled.
So my understanding, and this is where I'm a little bit confused, if I divide 685 divided by the 3 days, that's 228 hours, right? And if I divide that by an 8-hour day, we're talking 28 and a half. I don't know if that's personnel or trucks, but I'm going to make an assumption that they're synonymous. So that means for each of those 3 days, which sounds like a huge amount of trucks in the city, in one part of Elmhurst at a time, right? 28 trucks of each of those Saturdays, if I'm doing the math right, which that's why 685 just does not seem.
19 trucks.
Did I do my math wrong? Well, so that's my question. So the numbers I came up with, Alderman Irby just whispered saying it's 19. I came up with 28. I said what division I was doing, so unless I was doing division wrong, I think my number is accurate. But that's what I wanted someone to speak to and clarify for me.
Well, I did come up with 28, but we must be using the same brand phone. Alderman Bastido, did you have something to add?
Well, just that it's in hours is the measurement. So yeah, that would be 28 hours if you divide it by 8 hours, assuming there was no.
But I did divide by 8.
Right, and so it's 28 hours.
So I divided,
Like that's personnel.
but I did a division by 8 for the 8-hour workday already,
Right, and what was the number?
at 28.
Right. But that's personnel, I mean, Director, please correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not trucks necessarily. It's
Personnel.
Personnel.
But there's not two people in a truck, is there? There's one person in a truck because they're all automated nowadays, so it's 20, you could say whatever you want. That's why I said they're synonymous.
Cleanup, it's not automated.
Spring cleanup is a little bit different than normal operation because on a typical day, the drivers is working their way down the street and they're using the mechanical arm on the truck to dump the toters. But during spring cleanup, again, I think something everyone's seen, there's waste that is set at the curb that can't be removed just as simply and as efficiently with that. So it's a much more labor-intensive operation.
So,
Alderman Bram.
are we saying that then there's, on spring cleanup day, then there's two people in a truck? Because I don't think, I mean, I'm making assumptions here because I don't know, but, so that means that there's 14 trucks in town during spring cleanup each day, which still seems to be very significant, which goes back to my concern of, is 120 accurate, is 685 accurate, or somewhere in between? And I don't know if we could suspend the rules and ask the one or both of the vendors to respond, but it just, it's a challenge of doing this during a council meeting because we can't have these interactions efficiently and appropriately. This is what I wanted to avoid. I made the comment, and I'm going to stick with my comment, that I'm not going to ask for a special meeting. I'm not going to table this for 2 weeks because I don't think that's fair either, even though that would benefit this discussion. So I apologize for the torture of going through this way, but this is the manner that it was chosen, the process that was chosen. So I'm going to follow through with it. So may I ask to?
Well, let me do this. Can you, is the question one that could be answered by staff first? So if your question is
12-hour day.
You want further refinement of how many trucks there have been and how to get the basis for this?
To be very direct, I'm trying to understand if this is an accurate number, because these numbers were dropped on a Friday from 120 to 5 times multiple. I want to make sure that the differential that we're talking about before I make my vote is accurate or not. So whoever can answer it, I don't know.
Well, all right, to get through this, and I will say, there is another way to do it, which is to ask the question over the weekend to have it explored so we have it, but I want to accommodate.
I think the chair has something first.
Chair?
So my understanding is that the math does work out. So it's actually pretty inconceivable to think that they could do spring cleanup in 120 hours because the math that's on here, 685 divided by 3, so that's 228. Then divide that, assume they can't get it all in the 8 hours. You have 19 trucks, you said, then that would be 12-hour days. Or if you have 14 trucks, that would be a 12-hour day. I mean, the math is not much of a stretch. It's actually much more logical, based on all of our own experience with spring cleanup days, than 120 hours.
All right. I'd ask to pause for a moment. All right.
Understand it.
That should be talked about.
All right, so what I'm looking at is that I believe I need council consent to have someone other than to have, and it's a little unusual in my years on the council. I don't know that we've ever done it, but before I ask that, I'm going to ask, because I don't think it's to ask both vendors because LRS can't answer the question. Is Lakeshore, if I were to get approval, I'm sorry, Republic, would you be able to answer that question? All right. let's see, one more moment.
Point of order, Mayor.
No, just hold on, I'll get to you in one moment. All right, your point of order?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. The statement you made just a minute ago about not being able to get the information about a fall or spring cleanup from either vendor, you're saying that you could only get it from Republic. That's the whole point of us being in a committee, and that the two vendors can talk or answer questions from the chair as appropriate. And LRS is the one who's on the hook in the minority report under administrative charge for the fall pickup and the spring cleanup, the fall lead pickup. So if we agreed that LRS was the right person, the first thing I want to do in a committee meeting is hear what LRS's response is how many hours is it going to take you? And we have not done that. So that's my point of order. Is I'm not sure I understood your point that only Republic could answer the question.
Well, I'm not sure if that's a valid point of order in terms of procedure. What I was saying is that the data is based upon what Republic has done in the past, so LRS can't answer the question about what LRS has done in the past.
Agreed.
I'm sorry. Yep. I'll call it X and Y. Okay, I'm sorry, Republic. So that's why I would call on Republic to answer questions that are based on its historical data. So I'm going to, do I need a motion? I've never done this before.
I think just a consensus.
All right, I'd like to, is there a consensus that we may call on Republic to see if they can shed some light on Alderman Bram's question? Alderman Nardini?
I move we ask Republic to shed some light on Alderman Bram's question.
I wasn't going to get a motion, but we'll take it that way. Alderman Virgil, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. All right. I'll invite Republic's representative to approach the back microphone, and we will provide, or both of you, and we will provide some questions for you. All right, state your name again for the record.
Eric Pear, General Manager for Public Services.
All right, so do you need prompting, or do you understand the question that has been posed by
I believe so. So I think the first point I just want to clarify is that there were 3 numbers that were adjusted on that summary report.
Well, I think we're just talking about...
Correct. The one we're discussing is the 120 to the 685. I did just want to note that the 2 fall leaf pickup numbers did change as well, and those changed negatively for Republic. So, there was not some coordinated effort here to...
You don't have to explain what...
Yeah, okay,
if you would just address the question.
When it comes to the spring cleanup, this is a absolutely all hands on deck event for Republic Services that requires bringing in essentially a full staff on Saturday to get these done over those 3 weekends. And I believe when we went through to clarify that number, a invoice, I can't remember if it was June or July, but a date well dating prior to this RFP was what was pulled up to verify that information of what was invoiced for the prior spring cleaning event earlier in 2025.
All right, do you understand the basis? I understand that you verified it and you discovered the error. Can you explain the calculation of this 629?
Yes. So
685. 685.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is probably the heaviest days that we have on our routes. So when we're talking about the average hours on the routes, we're really talking 10, 11, 12 hours on those routes. And again, it does take a full effort of our staff to do that.
I'm not sure. Alderman Bram, is that answering your question?
Close enough.
Close enough for government work. All right. Alderman Nardini?
Sorry, it's not answering mine. Talk to me like I'm a fourth grader, but I just walk me through the math of the 685. If that's per hour, fine, that's per truck per hour.
No. It's the number of hours.
685 hours.
Ignore the
Divided by
labels.
3 days.
Alderman Jensen, do you want to jump in?
12 hours.
Sorry.
No, please do.
Those are the number of hours of labor. The label there says spring cleanup fee per truck per hour. That's the hour. The fee is above in the spreadsheet. So the math is the multiplication there.
Thank you. I don't
Right,
need any more explanation.
Alderman Virgil?
Just a question. On the billing statements or invoices that we get, does it not have this level of detail? Number of hours, things like that?
He's asking if our invoices have that level of detail, number of hours, or is it just the total? I don't know why I would have all that.
Yeah, I don't personally look at those. I would ask Director Balicki, the Republic invoices, Stan, do they have a breakdown of the number of hours on them for the spring cleanup and the fall leaf pickup?
I'm sorry, I don't, I'd have to, I can look it up for you and find the answer, but I don't know, I don't recall.
Just wondering if we had that information independently.
Yeah, we have the information. I just don't know how much of a breakdown it is on each day, or if it's just a total number for that spring cleanup event.
Does Republic know what's on its invoices by any chance? I'm not saying you should or would, but
Yes, typically at the end of our spring cleanup, we send not only an invoice, but a breakdown on the number of hours and tons. And I believe that was sent to the village, I'm sorry, to the city, that email, and I think Public Works Director Balicki is probably looking it up right now, in June, that details the number of hours per Saturday that were worked by our staff and the number of tons per Saturday that were picked up on the spring cleanup.
all right.
And as Eric mentioned, this is a very hands-on deck program. It's a very heavy week because people save all of their stuff for the entire year, not buying stickers, calling their friends from out of town and having them bring things and put them out here in Elmhurst. And we pick up a lot of stuff. So it's a large volume. It is, someone had the question, or, is it two men per truck? Typically, it's 1 man per truck. And it's anywhere from 10 to 12-hour days and anywhere between 19 and 22 trucks that are here in the community per day. So if you do that math, it equates to what you're seeing. And again, I'll emphasize, this was not information that we just gave to the city over the weekend or in February, on Friday. This is based on information that was provided to the city back in probably May or June, shortly after the spring cleanup took effect.
All right. Is your question, all right, Alderman Braham.
So I guess the correct statement would be Tish should have been the first one to speak, because that was the answer I was looking for, so thank you. That explains exactly where I was going. I mean, 19 to 22 trucks seems like an awful lot for each of those Saturdays, but I appreciate that's my math equates to exactly that statement, so thank you for that. And I also agree with Tish that this information, yes, staff's already, taken full accountability on this, that it was a mistake on their end that wasn't noticed until Friday, Saturday, because Tish sent us a spreadsheet on Monday during the committee meetings, and on there, it does say spring cleanup hours 685 and change. So I want to reemphasize, I'm not, and that was, I believe, only sent to the committee members that day, but I'm not trying to make any accusation that anything shady is happening. I just wanted to make sure that since we made a mistake, that this is not also a mistake, so we can move forward past that. So thanks for that confirmation. I have stuff in writing to show that if anybody doubts it, that was the number prior. So thank you all for indulging me, getting my answers, and feeling better about the final numbers.
All right, Republic, thank you for your answers. Anyone else have discussion? Alderman Irby.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate the mayor letting the Republic do that and the council agreeing. What we're doing when we're talking about this number, these are administrative charges that the customer does not see directly on their water bill for trash. These are charges for the leaf cleanup in the fall, the spring cleanup, that Republic going forward and in the past is, correct me if I'm wrong, LRS is not going to put those into the toter rates. They will have to end up getting a bill from LRS once they run the spring cleanup or the leaves, whatever, because we're in the administrative charge of the spreadsheet or in the reality of waste management curbside pickup. When I came tonight, I wasn't planning on having to debate the majority and the minority report because I have confidence that I can do that and make the minority report look good. I was here to try to figure out why in the world we are doing what we're doing now and not going back to committee. So back to leaf pickup, because I feel like I'm being forced to talk about things I wasn't planning on it. I was planning on it, and until the information snafu happened, it was a human error. Nobody's fault. I accept all, there's no apologies needed. What's really needed is the public and the vendors need to know about these problems that we saw. They're not minor. They're material. If it was a 0.5%, remember before we started, we were at 0.22% difference on an annual or 5-year basis between the two vendors, and they were negligible. In reality, they probably are somewhat just as negligible, but now we have a process problem where LRS and Republic have not been to a public meeting. They have not seen the new data that's materially changed. I'm going to say that going from 0.22 to 2.8 is material. And they deserve, as well as the public, as well as city council, that we shouldn't be up here on the dais debating and having to do this. So I wish that wasn't the case, but it appears that's not where we are. So when we get back to the leaf concept here, we're using Republic's data of how many trucks they put on the street and how much it took them to do it, and then we're going to extrapolate that over to LRS, and that will become their new standard that we're judging them tonight, whether or not we accept Republic or LRS. We're using Republic's trash leaf pickup, spring cleanup, number of hours to force onto LRS. So that's what they're going to be held to if they go forward. It doesn't seem fair until they had a presentation and be able to come into a committee meeting, and if we had to stay till midnight, which I hope we don't do tonight, then that's where we are right now. And that's just one topic. We were not allowed to talk about administrative charges during the last committee meeting Monday night when we relied upon this information. We made full reliance on what we had at 0.22, and the prices were negligible. Let's pretend they're at 2.8% now, and now we have some less negligibleness between the two. And so now I need to go and start arguing the admin charges that we couldn't cover Monday night because we didn't have the time or it wasn't authorized. I get it. That's the process. I am not the chair. So I respect the chair and everybody we had great deliberations that night, and I think we need more deliberations, as you can see from now. And maybe I'm filibustering right now, and I'll stop, but it's not fair to LRS or Republic that we put them through this, or the public not knowing what this error was in detail, to be able to have some time value, which we do have time value because this contract expires March 31, and so we have a full 3.5 months to get this done. There is a 90-day period of transition period, but I'll tell you right now, there's not much transition with Republic because we're not going to get new toters with Republic. You're going to stay with your existing toter, and there won't be a label on it that's been put on at the factory level that tells you what to do. So there's a whole lot of things that I would have loved to have been able to talk, not on council and committee, and we all agreed. And there's many items that we have in our reports, and we shouldn't be up here doing that. I'll yield back.
All right, Alderman Jensen.
Thank you, Mayor. I was just wondering, we put out an RFP for a more sustainable refuse and recycling and organics plan.
Alderman Jensen, will you pull your microphone down?
Sorry. We put out an RFP for a more sustainable plan. Like, we want to encourage people to divert waste from garbage to recycling and to organics, right? And maybe I'm wrong here, thinking about it the wrong way, but how is it sustainable to have more than 26,000 toters scrapped so we can get new ones when mine is perfectly fine? I imagine most people's are perfectly fine. Why are we dumping all these toters? How is that sustainable? That's fossil fuels getting mined and pollution from that to generate the polymers to make these new garbage. I mean, how is that sustainable?
I'll regard that as a rhetorical question. Thank you. All right. As the chair, I'm going to call on you, and then I want to go to people who have not. If anyone wants to speak, don't feel obligated. Alderman Bastido.
Thank you. I just wanted a chance to respond to some of the points that were raised. So first of all, aldermen say that the public needs to know. Well, what better place to let the public know than a public meeting on the dais with the cameras rolling? So I don't see any problem at all with having a meaty discussion tonight on the dais with all of the information in front of us. So yes, the public does need to know, and I'm happy that we are able to talk through it tonight. Also, the vendors were contacted. No one was surprised. This was not a surprise to anyone tonight, the information in the updated chart. And actually, we had a great discussion at our committee, and multiple vendors stood by this and said, yeah, that they didn't have a problem, with the way the assumptions that were made and the information that was in here, because to them, they were the better choice based on how they priced their proposal, which, by the way, we appreciated all the high-quality proposals. And so they are not held to anything. LRS is not held to anything that Republic has done in the past. That is just the way that we know how many hours and how many tons, were involved, and so we can make estimates on the cost of both of them. So no, they are not held to anything that Republic did. And then new toters, anybody can get a new toter if it is damaged at any time, but Republic does also have a system in place if they are the next vendor to do an exchange for toters. So whether you think we should be throwing out, 14,000, 20,000, whatever the number is, toters or not, it is going to be up to the resident. So with either vendor, they're going to have that option.
All right. Anyone else like to discuss? Alderman Toluto.
Thank you. I would just like to say that I have confidence after the information presented tonight that the mistake is corrected. We have the information we need. With all due respect to those aldermen supporting the minority report, I stand behind the chair. I think that a majority of the aldermen on the dais now have the information they need to make a decision tonight. I think it's actually most respectful to everyone involved to go ahead and have that vote called and proceed forward with the vote. Thank you.
Alderman Hill.
I'd like to call the question.
Come on. Is there a second? Alderman Toluto. I believe it's non-debatable. All right, so, I'm sorry, it's not debatable.
Not debatable.
So let me just explain what it is, because it doesn't happen that often. So calling the question means that if the vote to call the question is successful, we will then proceed directly to vote on the majority report. If the motion to call the question does not succeed, we will continue on debate. Okay? And so we're going to do this with a roll call, I believe, if that's all right with, that's at the prerogative of the chair, just to make sure we get it right. So, motion to call the question, all in favor of calling the question, meaning proceeding to a vote. Clerk Tamer.
Verimas?
Aye.
Bellinger?
Aye.
Shanko?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Graham?
No.
Jensen?
Aye.
Toledo?
Aye.
Baker?
Aye.
Udera?
Aye.
Virgil?
Aye.
Nardini?
No.
Bastido?
Aye.
Irby?
No.
Brennan?
Aye.
11 ayes, 3 nays.
11 ayes, 3 nays. The question has been called. We are now going to call the roll on the majority report.
Verimas?
Hold
Aye.
it. Hold it. Alderman Braham.
Oh, no, forget it. I retract.
Rule of order, question of procedure.
We never even got to present the minority report.
Doesn't matter. They called the question.
Well,
It got
just
snuck
to
in.
answer your question,
I get it.
the way
got
it usually
snuck.
goes is that as soon as the majority report is moved, usually the minority.
I get it.
Okay. All right, so on the report.
Verimas?
Aye.
Bellinger?
Aye.
Shanko?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Graham?
No.
Jensen?
Aye.
Toledo?
Aye.
Baker?
Aye.
Udera?
Aye.
Virgil?
Aye.
Nardini?
Aye.
Bastido?
Aye.
Irby?
No.
Brennan?
Aye.
12 ayes, 2 nays.
12 ayes, 2 nays. The majority report passes. We will not go to the minority report. I want to thank the vendors. You are all quality companies, good people, and it's a tough decision. I thank you for going through our process. Is there any other business to be brought before the council this evening? Seeing none, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn. Motion by Alderman Nardini, second by Alderman Veramis. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. We are adjourned. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Yeah, I know. No, I know.